Hi, everyone. In this segment, I'm going to talk about Medicaid and credit, about burial expenses and preparations, and about brain donations. Please don't think me callous in any of these videos. Remember, I've had almost 5 years to date to prepare myself physically for Stephanie's passing. Emotionally, I am going to be a wreck. But because I know that I will struggle emotionally when the love of my life passes, I have set these physical things in order to make it easier on myself. So there came a point in Stephanie's decline where I really felt like I needed some help. And I thought that Medicaid was the answer. So I went and saw a Medicaid lawyer, someone who could help me go through the process to get us set up. Well, long story short, we did not qualify. But that lawyer provided me with some good information. Things like removing Stephanie from our credit cards, removing Stephanie from our bank accounts, doing credit freezes on Stephanie's credit reports, and the ability to obtain credit or a loan or things like that in Stephanie's name. So I went ahead and did all that stuff because I wanted us to also be prepared, not even just at Stephanie's passing, but I wanted us to be prepared should we need to go on Medicaid in the future. Now, in November of 23, when we came out of the hospital for aggression, Stephanie had gotten to the point where we needed to enter into the hospital for 15 days to try and curb her aggression. That'll be an entirely another segment all on its own. But when we came out, we were very blessed that TRICARE allowed us to go into hospice. And we have now been in long-term hospice care for approximately 17 months. And you've heard me talk about them. They are just absolutely amazing. But you can prepare yourself and your loved one in case you need to go on Medicaid. While I was going down the Medicaid route, the lawyer and several other people recommended that in order to separate mine and Stephanie's finances entirely and just qualify her to go on Medicaid, they suggested that we divorce. And that is not something that I will do. I take my covenant relationship with Stephanie and God as far more important than any financial gain or financial stability that could come out of separating our finances in that manner. So that is not something that I will ever even consider. One thing I did is I did leave a single savings and a single checking account open in Stephanie's name. And I did that in case I predecease. If I predecease, the power of attorney is going to need somewhere to put money, whether it's insurance money or anything else. They will need a place to put that money for Stephanie. And then they will need to be able to gain access to that money, which I've made that fairly easy. Burial arrangements and prepaying. I went ahead and just prepaid for everything. You can go the cremation route, you can go the traditional burial route, you can pay for every single thing that needs to be covered after you pass. And we went ahead and did that because I just felt that it would be easier, number one, on me when Stephanie passes, but then also on my kids so that they don't have to worry about it. Because I also have this 2 or 3 page document that states where everything is, with whom it is, account numbers, everything from banking accounts, insurance accounts, to the prepayment account for our burial, all the way down to utilities, account numbers, phone numbers. You call this person. The phone number to call when I pass, so that my military pay will stop and they don't have to deal with that. Just I laid everything out for them. So I would encourage you to try and gather that information into a single place, into a single document, so that they don't have to go looking for it when you pass, and you don't have to go looking for it when your loved one passes. Last thing is brain donation. In 2020, when we first got Stephanie's diagnosis, I looked around to see if there were any clinical trials or studies for posterior cortical atrophy. And I found that Mayo had a study. And we decided to take part in that. We flew up to Rochester, and they did a whole bunch of scans, blood work, this, that, and the other. And one of the things that they offered us while we were there was the ability to donate Stephanie's brain when she deceases. And we both thought that that was a good opportunity to allow them to study Stephanie's brain, to better understand posterior cortical atrophy. At the time, it was one of the lesser known dementias. And we wanted them to be able to take Stephanie's brain and to understand what was going on and why that part of her brain was atrophying. Well, fast forward, and they will also have the ability to use it for research for Alzheimer's disease. May God give you the strength of the Spirit on your journey. I'll see you again soon.